All right, Giant XL American Bully Breed Group. What's up? We are live. Let me know if you can if the sound is good and everything, and we will start getting into this. Let me see here and make sure it's showing in the group. Give me a quick second. And this StreamYard slows up my computer so much. But go ahead and join in. Definitely want this to be an interactive one. We are first. Okay, why can't I find my live in the group? There we go. All right. And let me put it to a damn, everything's slow. But go ahead and join in. Some of you guys are joining in from different locations. Some of you are joining in from YouTube. Others of you are joining in from either my personal page or from the group. But go ahead, everybody get in. And it looks like today, marked as an announcement, so why isn't it showing? Let's see here. Hold on. Y'all, I got to figure out my way around here real quick. And there we go. Okay, we're going to leave it at that. We're going to pin you to the top. All right, so if you are, we're not going to do any watch parties, so I should be able to see everything that's going on. Let me know if you can't hear me or anything. I should be able to see your comments. I'm doing this through StreamYard, so this is going to be a little different. And the reason I wanted to do that is because I had to make a spreadsheet so that we could actually deal with the ways you go about breeding for temperament. So today's topics, of course, this is the finale of the Drive the Bully Temperament series. We're just gonna be discussing some of the drives we spoke of previously, how they break down, and then also how that works for you breeding bullies according to the ABKC and the UKC temperament and what it is that they're expecting. So we're gonna do that. The other thing we are going to be discussing, the topics that came up in the group. How do you feed your dog? Bad people in good positions when it comes to vets, trainers, breeders, buyers, etc. Um, let's see. Then also, is it bad to have some fire in your dogs? Was a good discussion that came up today. And then another one was dogs diet that was presented by Jessica Milburn. Was dogs diet in pregnancy. So we're gonna get into that too. We're gonna lump that in with the how do you feed your dog, and we'll just kind of start from square one. Let me make sure I can see your comments. I don't see any comments. Now, if you have never clicked onto the StreamYard button, I won't be able to see where it is you're actually, I'll be able to see where you're coming from, but I may not be able to see your name and who you are. So if you've never clicked on the StreamYard button, do that. I think the live should at the top of it, maybe not. Okay, so on the live, you click see more. It says I'm going live through StreamYard. Before leaving a comment, please grant StreamYard permission to see your name as StreamYard /Facebook. So if you click on that, there's just a big button. You hit that button, and then bam, I can miraculously see your name and everything else. So I see Spirit's Nest. Not sure who that is, but what's up? Thanks for joining in. Some of the rest of you I cannot see, but definitely join in. So I'm showing right now there's a total of 20 people. So it looks like 4 from the group, and I don't know where the rest are coming from. But thank you, everybody, for joining in. My name is Daryl Thrower. This is all done for the Giant XL American Bully Breed Group and furthering the education of the breed and dogs in general. You can also check us out. We are now starting to get official when it comes to this online breeding game. So we've got a YouTube set up at Thrower Bullies. We also have an Instagram. I'm trying to participate more in the Instagram, but Instagram is just boring for me. My kids say it's because I don't have enough people that I'm following. So Start following us. We will definitely follow you back. That is on Thrower Bullies on Instagram. But like I said, start following us. We will definitely follow you back because I need to see more. Instagram is just boring. Like it needs I don't know, some music and some fireworks and something else. You know, Facebook is just constant drama and people posting, whereas Instagram, I guess it makes sense. You're limited to who you're following. So I guess that makes sense. So but anyway, start following us so that I can get more into Instagram and start, seeing things I like and commenting on things and, get into it. But, I have a reminder set up every day to remind me to do something on Instagram because it just doesn't come natural to me. DeAndre, what's up, bro? Thanks for joining in. Spirits Nest. Oh, it's Betsy. Is that you? Yep, it's Betsy. What's up, Betsy? Thanks for joining in. Dion, thanks for joining in, man. Yeah, I can see you on the Facebook one. Let me see if it shows you on Dion. Yeah, see, yours shows on the StreamYard portion, so I can see you on there. Now, who said hi, fam? That was DeAndre. So, DeAndre, if you click, and I'm gonna try to keep up with both as we go. But if you look at the live, if you click on the where it says see more, the last little piece is going to give you a link to StreamYard. You just click the button once you get into StreamYard, and then I can see, everybody's name on StreamYard. But other than that, so I'm going to try to do both. If you're on YouTube, that I don't even know what to tell you. I'm not going to be able to see your comments. I know that's not a good thing. I can jump into that, but today's going to be a little complicated for me because I have a spreadsheet that I'm going to be showing when we get to Breed for Temperament. That's going to come at the end, and I don't want things messing me up. There's too many times where I click a button and then all of a sudden everything shuts down. So I'm going to try to keep this as simple as possible because I've made it more complex than I've ever done it before. But like I was saying, one of the first topics, looks like there was a tie between how do you feed your dog and bad people in good positions. Let's go ahead and start with bad people in good positions. One of the reasons I brought that subject up is a lot of times I see in social media, people create breeders, so-called dogmen, so-called OGs, create personas for themselves that they want the rest of the community online to feed into. And, of course, some of them do it for attention, some of them do it for money. But I came across a individual that I had a litter I had done a while back where I bred my dog Floyd to a female we had, Sasha. This had nothing to do with bullies. They were high-driven dogs. And the girl who had the pups are probably about 4 now. Anyway, he was aggressive, and that's what I was breeding for at the time. And her dad wanted her to have an aggressive dog because she was moving off to New York. And anyway, she took him. She wanted to be trained. And the trainer was into the electric shock collars. And he just kept hitting the button. She even showed me a video, sent me a video where he's just hitting the button on the dog nonstop. There was never anything done prior to the electric collar. And that's why I say bad people in good positions. This was a guy who probably went through the training program, got his certificate, decided he was going to start training and to make money because he probably loves dogs but doesn't know anything about them. So his first go-to when he's dealing with a high-driven dog is the electric collar. And there's just so many other avenues than what he was trying to do with that dog. And it started getting me to think. We even had a situation, Cardi Bull's first litter with King of Diamonds. When we did that first litter, the vet, and it was the first time I had dealt with AIs. All the dogs I've dealt with before, bullies, bred naturally, had their pups naturally. That was never an issue. But we came to the vet on a Friday to do the progesterone test. And you could tell he knew that there was a good chance that the pups are going to be ready probably that Sunday, which means they would have been closed, which means I would have took my money to somewhere else, an emergency vet. He was saying, let's go ahead and do it now, but we're going to hold off till the last second. And that should have been my clue, that something wasn't right. We waited to the last second. Vet office was about to close. Bam, they do the C-section. And I had my goddaughter with me who really wanted to see these puppies. And I really wasn't paying attention at the time till I got the pups home. And when I got them home, I could tell there was just a lack of development. And normally when that takes place, you'll see it around the eyes. They just aren't out as much as they should be. And I realized we did this C-section 2, maybe even 3 days early, and that wasn't a good thing. So, but what was he doing? He was trying to make sure he got his money for his program, his company, his vet office. My main thing with that is you got to be careful when it comes to your veterinarians. Understand a lot of your veterinarians are influenced by your local humane society, PETA. They would prefer to do C-sections when they're an emergency, not when they're not when it's just your everyday process, which is what a lot of the bully community does. So when they hear the word American bully, pit bull, exotics, they automatically look down on you. I'm sure a lot of you have come across people who go in to do a C-section. They come out with puppies, plus the female's tubes has been spayed or neutered spayed. This is a problem. Be careful who you're dealing with. Make sure that they're reputable, that you can contact people that's dealt with them, especially when it comes to vets and you're doing these AIs, you're doing these C-sections. For those of you who are looking for trainers, don't get caught up with what you see online with these trainers. A lot of them do not know anything about dogs. I always say, if a trainer has never just sat for hours and watched dogs, I don't care what kind of classes he's taken or whatever to get his certificate. A lot of times they're BSing you. Be careful with that. When it comes to breeders, a lot of these breeders, they're going to be using Photoshop, taking fancy pictures. If you guys saw the live we did yesterday with Raul and Danny Cervantes, Raul Fagundes with QBN and Danny Cervantes was second to none. Same thing. You know what I mean? That was one of the discussions that we had with these breeders that are just faking their knowledge when it comes to dogs. They've got everything for you. They're wild in the community. They're known in the community when they got a litter. Then all of a sudden there's no litter and you don't hear from them. Be careful of that. Start watching people that you can learn from, people that you can hit up and discuss dogs, regardless of whether you plan on purchasing a pup from them. Those are the type of people that you want to deal with. Because like I said, a lot of these people are putting on a persona. It is the Kim Kardashian era still when it comes to social media. And a lot of people aren't what they pretend to be. And like I said, you should be able to have conversations with these people who are doing breedings, regardless of whether they're doing a breeding or not. If they're involved in the community and they haven't done breedings for years, then they need to be a judge, a handler. It should be somebody that's dealing with a registry. Somehow they should still be involved in the community outside of just what you see on social media. So definitely pay attention to that. Another subject that came up was how do you feed your dogs, which we're going to tie into also dogs, diet, and pregnancy. What I always say is whatever's worked for you is what you should stick with. There is a myth in the bully community that whatever worked for your grandmother doesn't work for bullies. That shouldn't be. If that is, then that's a problem with the breeder. That shouldn't be, though, when it comes to these dogs, because they're dogs. There are things you have to do different. As far as large dogs, it's always been understood that you don't want to, use puppy food for large dogs, or you want to use puppy food for large dogs because you don't want too much protein, calcium, things like that cause issues with the bones. Let me check out some of these comments real quick, y'all. Bear with me. Let's see here. Someone said, always, bro, definitely someone I look up to in the game. Thank you for that. Let me see if I can see the comments. I'm gonna try to go to just look at the comments on Facebook. But definitely, be aware of the people you're dealing with when it comes to your feeding of your dog. Whether people like it or not, we can feed all these expensive foods, and the bully community likes to brag about what they spend. It's like the rap community. They want to brag about, I spent all this money on my yard. I spent all this money on kennels. I spent $400 on food yesterday. I spent this on this. I have an issue when I hear somebody talking about how much they spend on dogs, especially if you don't have that many. You got a lot of dogs, that's different. And you're using what you spent as an example of what you do. But when I hear somebody constantly talking about the money that they spend on dogs, that's you trying to figure out a way to let me know why you charge your prices. And your prices that you charge was to not just say, I like touching my money, not spending it. Exactly. You know what I mean? But here in the bully community, there's a big, huge influence by money and telling people what you spent, what you made, and all these things that have nothing to do with dogs. A lot of that is done so that people can say, I spent $5 million on food last month. So therefore, this is why I charge $10,000 per pup. Then their next step is, and if you spend $10,000 on a pup with me, you can breed your dog and you can start charging $10,000 for your pups. Why are my comments coming up slow? But it doesn't work that way. What you're able to charge for dogs is going to be based off your marketing and your surrounding, what you're known for with dogs. We have had total of 10, now 4, so that's 14 pups. We've kept 3. Looks like we're keeping another 1. So out of 10 pups that we've had since we've started breeding bullies, we haven't sold anything on Facebook. There's no need for us to discuss with Facebook how much and when I say Facebook, I'm talking about internet, social media, all that. There's no need for us to discuss with online community how much we charge unless you ask us. If you ask us directly, then yeah, we'll tell you. But as far as us making a post, I sell my dogs for $5 million because I have 10 show wins. I always get AIs and my vet's expensive. That's not something you want to, those things should be ringing a bell as to what this person is breeding for. And you have to pay attention to people's conversations. Now, every now and then people are going to get taken out of character. But when you're talking dogs, you shouldn't get taken out of character because you're just talking dogs. So don't get caught up into a lot of the things that you see when it comes to what people are feeding their dogs. Understand, most humans love knowledge. They may not know what to do with it, though. So a lot of people like to know the various nutrients they can get for their dog and all these other things. What they forget when they're looking for all these new things to say and new things to learn is that the last dog they had just ate kibbles and bits and was perfectly fine. Great coat, no allergies, no issues. So that's what you got to remember when it comes to these dogs. What we don't want to breed is dogs that have to eat raw. Because dogs we never used to do that with our dogs. We might give them raw, but we also gave them kibble. We might give them some leftovers off the table and when I say a couple weeks ago, I mean it literally a couple weeks ago, and they were all perfectly fine. What we don't want to do is the whole community turns to, we just feed raw food. And now all of a sudden we're breeding dogs that can only eat raw food. Hey, what's up, JoJo? Thanks for joining in. But we don't want to create that because now you're creating lesser and lesser dogs. We don't want to create dogs that need high expensive foods. So I'm going to go into what I feed my dogs, and it's what I fed my dogs before bullies. And for some strange reason, with all the money people spend on their dogs and all these, you look at a person's dog bowl now, and there's all these different colors and fruits and vegetables and little things jumping out at you. It's not necessary. It's not necessary. And if you continue doing that, you're going to breed dogs that it is necessary for, which means the average person gets a dog for you and they've got vet bills, allergy pills, and all kinds of other issues. the immune system of these dogs is being messed up due to the fact that we have gravitated away from the things we feed. People will see this, and I'll get inboxes tonight and tomorrow. You're wrong about what you're saying, blah, blah, blah. I can care less. They're all wrong. We need to get these dogs back to what dogs used to be. When you hear people talking about, I used to breed pit bulls and they could run under the house, have a litter, the whole litter was safe, the whole litter was fine, grew up healthy. That's what dogs are supposed to be. It is. I don't care what breed you're breeding. That's what they are supposed to be. The only reason the Shih Tzu shouldn't be going under your house and having puppies is because they have too much damn fur. It shouldn't be because of their immune system. Okay. This is what dogs are supposed to be. And when we start getting on these kicks of the latest trendy, high expensive pet food and supplements, and I'm not going to say any names, but we get too caught up into that. And next thing you know, you're not just a pet owner feeding this to your dog. That's fine if you breed a real dog and a pet owner wants to make them a sensitive dog. That's cool. What you can't do is be a breeder and all you do is feed. I only feed raw. Okay, so what if I get a dog from you, but I decide that's not the route I'm going? I decide I want to feed it the things that my dogs, Rottweilers, Pit Bulls, Greyhounds, Bull Lurchers, Jack Russell, have all been fine for. Because if you're giving me a dog that can't do the same thing as that variation of dogs, then you shouldn't be breeding. And if this breed is supposed to be that way, then this breed shouldn't exist. And those are harsh words, but it's just a fact. The species should govern what we're dealing with. And when we start getting away from what the species is, all we're doing is creating weaker dogs. They might look impressive, but if I've got to pay for expensive foods to make a dog look impressive, that's crazy. So when it comes to the first topic, as far as how do you feed your dog? And I want you guys to join in on that. So I will try to keep up with your comments. If you want to join in on the live, let me know. I got to figure out how to pin the link in the comments, and I don't know how to do that. Let me see here. I'm going to put the link up every so often in the comments so that you guys can see it. So if you want to join in on the live, that should be the link. Let's see what we got here. Spirit said, man, that's so backwards. Shock collars are the last thing. Exactly. I agree 100%. I hate when people don't know how to use collars, the e-collar. Exactly. It's become a crutch for breeders. You know, I'm going to give you another crutch for trainers. I'm going to give you another crutch for trainers. It's treats. I didn't learn about using treats, I want to say, until I started taking training classes to get my training certificate. Up until that, I never needed treats to train a dog. Now I get it, because the faster the treats make it faster, and the faster you can get it done, the faster you can get to your next client. But there's a thoroughness that you're missing when you go on when you're using treats. And there's a huge thoroughness that you're missing when you're using the shock collar or an e-collar. The e-collar should be the last thing you're using in training. Spirit said, I keep food, basic, white fish, kibble. There you go. But I do have fruits, veggies, and that's what I'm about to get into. You shouldn't have to feed, you have to say what you spend. Exactly. You know, the expenses is part of the world. Exactly. I agree 100%. So here's the thing when it comes to feeding. Here's what I do. And for the person who, one of the topics they wanted to discuss with pregnancy, I'm going to go ahead and start from the beginning with pregnancy. So I have what I feed my dog, and then I'm going to get into that. And then all of a sudden, my female is pregnant. I keep her on the same regimen until about 30 days before she would be delivering. So now if I start seeing signs that she's pregnant, then that's when I increase what I'm feeding. I will do a little, you know what? Let's start this way. Pup is born, bam, you get a pup. Here's what I do. I'm very big into fasting. So I feel once a pup hits about 4 or 5 weeks old, they should eat at least 3 times a day. I fast, and that feed should be based off what their mother was already eating. So now all of a sudden the pup hits 8 to 10 weeks old and it goes to its new home. That new home decides what they want to feed it. My very first thing is fasting. Um, when it comes to pups, I think they should eat 3 times a day. Some people do 4. So on Sundays, I will fast a pup by feeding 1 meal less. So if I feed my pup 3 times a day, then on Sundays they'll only eat 2 times a day. When the pup hits 6 weeks old, 6 months old, I cut them down to 2 feedings a day. Then on Sundays, they will only eat once a day. When the pup hits a year old, I cut them down to 1 meal a day. And on Sundays, they don't eat at all. It's a total fast. And that's how I break it down. As far as what I feed, I like to break things up to a every other day thing so that if I have an issue, I can do that specific feeding. Well, every other day, one day is focused on protein. The next day, I focus on fruits and veggies. If I have an allergy issue, then what that does for me is it gets everything in their system that they need. But then if I have an allergy issue, then I will switch from the protein diet and I'll start doing the fruits and veggies on a daily basis. If I think the dog needs to gain weight, then I'll switch from the days that I do the veggies and the fruits. I'll now do the protein diet on a daily basis. So it just depends. Allergy issues, immune issues, or weight gain issues, especially if I'm deciding to work that dog out a lot. Let's see here. Let me make sure before I get into this. Load the clicker with trees, delete as training strengthens. Exactly. You have to reduce it. You definitely have to reduce it as the training goes. The more the dog learns, the more you want to pull away. Rocky got canned food and cannot. And a egg today. And a carrot and an egg today. Exactly. So whatever you've been feeding your dog, that is what works. Stick with it. So now what I do is this: Monday, Wednesday, Friday for me is a protein day. So they get their kibble. I've always been open with it. I feed pedigree. A lot of people have issues with that, but what you don't see is all these expensive foods. Every couple months, they pop up with some issues. Pedigree never pops up with issues, and I treat kibble as a filler. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I feed pedigree, and I give them raw ground beef, high fat. Fat doesn't do to dogs what it does to humans, especially if you're working your dog. And I don't mean working, but exercising your dog how you're supposed to. So when I do the ground beef, I also include sardines. I prefer sardines over salmon. Salmon eats fish that eat vegetation and plankton. Therefore, salmon tends to get a lot of mercury content in their system. So I would prefer to go straight to the fish that the salmon is eating. And those are small fish. One of those small fish is sardines. So you can go to Walmart, get you a cheap, don't go getting the most expensive thing. You don't need to do that. Go to Walmart, get the Walmart brand sardines, make sure it's not in hot sauce, it's in water. And you want to use that water in their food. You also want to throw the sardines in there for your dog's meal. That way, they're getting a not only are sardines good for the immune system, but they get a lot of nutrients, and that's what salmon is eating those sardines for. So you don't have to. It's cheaper just to get what the salmon is getting. You know what I mean? That's why we don't eat lions. We eat antelopes, or we don't eat mountain lions. We eat deer because the deer is getting it direct. That's why the mountain lion's going. So when you're going to salmon to get nutrients for your dog, that's like you going to mountain lions and wolves to get nutrients for yourself. No, go to the source that they're eating. So that's why I say small white fish is the best for your dogs. So it's a protein day. I do chicken feet, which they call chicken paws. I think that's hilarious. Chicken feet, salmon. Chicken feet, sardines, and water, along with raw ground beef. I don't do raw chicken. The reason I don't do raw chicken is my kids are older now, but we have got kids and we have friends who have kids, and I just don't want salmonella. Our dogs eat in the house. They just have their own spaces that they eat in the house, and I just don't want that getting mixed up. I don't want that getting mixed up to The salmonella. I don't want to deal with that issue. So I don't do raw chicken. I will boil chicken, and make sure that the dog gets the water that it was boiled in also. And I will do chicken's feet, which I do a quick boil on it. So that's my Monday, Wednesday, and my Friday. So that the dog is getting a serving of that strictly protein. Hotep said, let me see, what time of day do you feed? Hold on, let me go back up. Rocky likes the Royal Canine, but with coconut oil added. Coconut oil is great. Betsy said flaxseed oil is good to rotate with. Flaxseed oil is great. I like flaxseed oil, coconut oil, and what's the olive oil. Let's see, what time of day do you feed? I feed between never earlier than 6, typically around 7. Every now and then I might forget and it might be 9, but my dogs will let me know if I do that. Between them and my wife, somebody's gonna come fussing if I forget to feed them and it gets a little late. But yeah, I do between 6 and 9. I don't keep steady. How do you say this? This is a companion species, so it's supposed to adapt to us. So if I'm working and I get off at 5, but traffic takes me till 7 to get home, your dog can deal with it. Trust me, these animals are bred to be predators. Predators are only successful 1 out of every 10 attempts. If they're solo, if they live in a pack, they're only successful 6 out of 10 attempts. That means they're actually built to go days without eating. So a couple hours is not going to hurt them. And it's also a good way for you to teach them to wait on you. That kind of instills a purpose drive in these animals, to wait on you and what it is you want to do at that time. Hotep said, how do you respond when people ask why these dogs cost so much? It's the wow factor. That's the only thing I can give you. They aren't more protective than the Rottweiler. They aren't more agile than the Pit Bull or the Border Collie. It's the wow factor. You know, like I've let people know. And you know, it's funny you asked that. My cousin and I, he had just got finished with breeding Cane Corsos. And then I was on my own as needed, basically creating catch and protection dogs through a mixture of old family red nose and boxer mix with actually a razor's edge female. So people came to us expecting guard dogs and protection dogs that were good with kids, good with the family, good with the dogs they grew up with. And we were selling them anywhere from $800 to $2,000. So when all of a sudden we got into bullies, we couldn't degrade a new breed by selling them for $800 to $2,000 when you've got people selling them for $10, $15, $20,000. Why somebody pays $20,000, that's 100% up to them. Typically, they're going to be a breeder that anticipates making their money back off the hype or whatever that dog is. The way I explained it to our clientele, and it worked, they are still looking to get dogs from us. Luckily, our first breeding backed up everything, you know, that we were saying, and the dogs that they've gotten from us in the past, the temperament was on point. So they had no issues, but it was, you know, anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 to $3,000 more than what they were used to coming to us for when it came to dogs. But they knew what they were getting because it was the throwers. The way I would explain it is this is a dog that is bred for wow factor. It is to make your neighbors jealous. When your neighbor pulls up with a Ferrari and a German Shepherd, but you pull up with a Pinto and a Bully, you feel a little more even. You know what I mean? These dogs that's what they're made for. They are made king. I made the mistake one day. My cousin pulled over to get gas. I let King out the car while he was getting gas just so I could get like a full visual of him, because when he was already in the car when I jumped in, and it went nuts. I mean, people were making U-turns, pulling into we were in the hood, so you had pimps, prostitutes coming over to us, the owner of the gas station coming out, people going in the gas station sneaking food out because he's not in there. It was wild, dude, how much attention he got when he goes to Jack London Square in Oakland. They actually want my cousin to bring him now on weekends just because of the attention that he gets. Cardi Bull, she's nowhere near the size of King, but when we go to a vet, We go to PetSmart. When she's out in public, people slow down. Now, when I see, and it's always somebody I can walk down a major street with her, and people are slowing their cars down to look at her, and it's not because she's doing anything impressive. It's just the impressive look of these dogs. You know what I mean? And they also are a breed that does have to get AIs, C-sections, until they become balanced and more uniform. This is going to be a part of them. So it does cost more money to breed these dogs than it does your average Labrador, your average Rhodesian Ridgeback, Golden Retriever, whatever it is that people are typically used to buying. So that's the best way I can explain it is one, the money it costs you to get it. Two, yeah, there is a factor of what we put into it, but I don't go into that with breeders because should be expected. I more present it as this is an expensive breed. You're paying to get it from me, but you're not paying that $10,000, that $20,000 mark. You're paying to get it from me at my prices, and this is what I have to offer you. When you get this dog from me, he is going to be a dog that will protect your home. He is going to be a dog that will get along with your cat. I'm not saying your neighbor's cat, but he will get along with your cat, your dog. You're going to be able to take him to dog beaches, dog parks, camping, hiking. If you choose you want to do protection work with a dog you get from us, you're going to be able to do that. So as a breeder, Hotep, you want to be able to back up the value of the dog that you're producing. And that was one of the reasons we started with temperament first. We knew the bully game was focused on either structure or size. We didn't see anybody focused on temperament. And when I say temperament, I don't mean the dog won't eat your baby. I mean true temperament, that it is a purpose-driven dog, whatever your purpose is. And so you want to come up with your niche amongst the bully community to be able to say, this is why I'm charging it, because this is what this dog is going to give you. It's going to be healthy. It's going to give you lots of years of companionship. And as a family member, you're going to be able to trust it with your kids' friends. At the same time, you're also going to know when you get a dog from me, ain't nobody breaking in your house. And if they do, they're welcome to. Leave your door open, but your dog's going to handle that. You know what I mean? And that's what should be backing up your prices, not, I'm not going to say not color because I know, the whole Merle thing. We even got a Merle. But, that dog's ability should be backing it up, and what that dog is capable of when it comes compared to the Rottweiler or the Pit Bull next door or whatever it is. Your bully should be able to do the same things and should be able to be counted on to do the same things. I can't see your name. It says, took your advice on the kraut for the dogs. They loved it. The sauerkraut, my dogs hate it. I have to mix it in like extremely well. We're going to get back into the feed. Chicken feet are good too. Very good. Rocky enjoys them. Running around the room with it. I feed them first in the morning after the walk. 3 a.m. and 4 p.m. And then Lincoln and Bailey. Or try to nature in your opinion, please. Okay. AI, Lincoln and Bailey. Or try natural in your opinion. Betsy, from what I've seen of Lincoln and Bailey, because they're bullies, I'm going to say I would do the AI. If they can breed naturally, I would definitely go with the natural birth. People are talking about STDs and dogs and all that stuff, and I'm sure that happens, but the majority of the dogs don't have STDs. So I don't believe in breeding dogs based off of what we're worried about when it comes to dogs. Otherwise, you create dogs based off of worries and they become lesser dogs. So if they can naturally tie, Betsy, do the natural. King's just such a monster that we know we want to bring some of the height down while still trying to maintain the size. So he's just hitting air a lot of times, So we went with the AI when it came to King, and he's a lot of dog to be putting on a female's back. But so when it comes to nutrition, Monday, Wednesday, Friday is my protein day. And that's a focus on chicken feet, sardines, and raw ground beef. You want to get the fat. Don't get the lean. Get the fat. And when I say the fat, what I mean is I think it's 70-30 is what I give them. Now, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, that's our veggie and fruit day. The thing to remember about fruits is the skin that outlines your fruit is difficult for dogs to digest. So you want to smash that. I use a bean smasher. I get frozen fruit, strawberries, blueberries. I boil water. I throw them in there. Then and I turn down the boil, and then I turn off the boil, and then I start preparing the rest of the food. And then once that's thawed out, I just start smashing it up. Also, I forgot to say, with your kibble, to get the best out of your kibble. So let's go back. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I do protein. They get kibble, raw ground beef. My kibble is pedigree, raw ground beef, chicken feet, and they get sardines. The first thing I do is put the kibble in the bowl. I run hot water in the sink as hot as I can get it, and I pour that over the kibble. The reason I do that is because soaking up the kibble makes the kibble more easy for them to get nutrients from it. A lot of times, especially when we were young and everybody was using kibble, if you remember, some of the times our dogs would throw up the kibble and then re-eat it. That's why. So go ahead, pour water on it so that it can soak while it's stirred up, so it can soak while you're getting everything else prepped. Then go ahead, throw the proteins in it. Comes to the next day, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, I do the same thing. Kibble, just a little bit of hot water on it, stir it up in there so that it can start soaking up the hot water and make it more easy to digest. I use pepper every day of the week. The reason I use pepper is pepper has enzymes in it that gets things going in the dog's body and enables the dog to pull more nutrients from its food. So it's just a pinch. Don't go making your dog's food spicy. If your dog approaches his bowl and starts sneezing, that means you way overdid it. So just a little pinch of pepper. That's all they need. Pepper is a strong product, so you don't need a lot. Just a little bit of pepper sprinkled in each bowl, and it just helps get those enzymes going in the stomach and enables your dog to pull more nutrients from it. So Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, I do blueberries, strawberries. I smash them up. With your vegetables, you want to grade them. So I use a cheese grater. I do sweet potato. I use turmeric powder. I use ginger powder. And then I also use clove of garlic, and the clove of garlic for each dog. And that I grade. Garlic, I know it used to be a myth that garlic was bad for your dogs. It's not. It's great for your dogs. Not only does it help clear out parasites within the dogs, it helps keep parasites off your dogs, like fleas, ticks, things like that. Garlic is good for the blood. Garlic is good for the immune system. There was a study that came out saying that garlic was deadly for dogs because it fits into the same family as onions. And onions are bad for your dog unless they're actually boiled. Because my dogs, when I was young, used to get onions because it was in the stews my mom would make. But that study was incorrect. And you can find it on the internet where they pointed out why that study was incorrect. And the study was incorrect due to the fact that they weren't using, they were either using too much garlic or they were using garlic extract. So it was so that they could make their study easier to do. So it was extremely potent, and they gave it to the dogs. The dogs are getting sick. 1 clove per dog. Most of us who are watching this breed bullies. I give 1 clove to my Jack Russell. She just passed at 14 last week, 2 weeks ago. I had to put her down, but she was able. I used to give her like a small clove. I grade it, but 1 clove for dog, and I do that every other day. So sweet potato, garlic, turmeric powder. Turmeric is very good for your dog. It helps with allergies, inflammation, building the immune system, helps with pain relief. Ginger, very much the same. It's good for the immune system. Also good for the stomach. Remember, our dogs can't tell us when their stomach is hurting, and then they're so happy to see us, you can't even tell by looking at them. So I throw ginger in there just in case they might have a little stomach issue or whatever. That helps. I only use canned pumpkin when I notice diarrhea. I don't make it a part of everyday diet because I rather use it to cure things rather than using it on a regular basis. And then all of a sudden I have nothing to turn to. Turmeric powder, ginger powder, garlic, the actual clove, sweet potato, a lot of protein in sweet potato. It is also good for the immune system, good for the heart. Then blueberries, strawberries. That's Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So once I've done this, I've got it in their bowl. Bam, they eat. The reason I do it every other day is kind of like I was saying before. If I notice that there is an immune system issue, then I know I want to turn to my veggie days, and I'll use that every day. If I notice a dog is losing weight, then I'll turn to my protein days, and I do that every day. Sundays I fast. I don't my dogs, once they hit a year old, they eat once a day. On Sundays they don't eat at all. Every now and then they might get a little broth. My wife she sneaks them food because she's totally against me fasting the dogs. But for the most part, they don't eat on Sundays. They make sure they have fresh water, and that's about it. The purpose is in cleaning out their system. By them cleaning out their system, it helps them boost their immune system. If you do notice issues, fur issues, things like that, sauerkraut. I also, on my veggie days, I will use plain yogurt to help so that they get more probiotics. Again, just like the black pepper, it's helping them take in more nutrients and clean out their system. You also want to make sure you are walking your dog, exercising your dogs in one way or another. If you have dogs that will like to run around the yard, that's cool. You can have 10 acres. If you don't see your dog sprinting, don't consider that exercise. Throw a leash on them, take them for a walk, or get out there, throw the ball. You have to do something with your dog so that they can clear their system. A lot of that affects the immune system. Sitting around in the same area, in the same location, is bad for the immune system. That's how I feed. Now, as far as a pregnant female, I treat them exactly the same. Nothing changes. When they are 30 days out, or I start to see signs that cause me to think that they're pregnant, or that I have confirmed that they are pregnant, that is when I will pick up the amount of ground beef that they eat. They'll get an increase on that. And I'll get more. They'll just get more of everything, pretty much. But on the meat days, protein days, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, they will get more ground beef. And I might even throw it in there with the rest of their veggie days, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Don't feed your dogs. Don't fast your dogs when you've confirmed that female is pregnant. Don't fast them. She needs to be eaten every day without issue, snacks, the whole nine. If your dog is willing to eat sweet potato as a treat, that's another great treat to give pregnant females. I also use spinach on my Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays. I use spinach. The thing is with spinach, it is leafy. So you want to make sure you're ripping and you're shredding it up so that it's easier for them to swallow rather than leaf getting caught at the roof of their mouth and driving them crazy. They won't choke off of it, but it will drive them crazy trying to get it off. So make sure it's shredded up real good so that it goes down with the rest of their food. But like I say, don't get so caught up into the trends of feeding. And people are going to have a lot of things, and reasons why this worked for them and that worked for them, but it's about what's working for you. If your dog's coat doesn't have patches, it's shiny, if you do notice issues, have a bag of colostrum ready to go. Colostrum will help them boost the immune system and help them get through those phases where you do notice coat issues and things like that. Gary Moore has Doc's Oils. He has a lot of good natural products for your dog to boost the immune system if you notice issues. But don't, again, get so caught up in all these high scientific diets and these high expensive. That's not necessary. They're dogs. And even though these are bullies, it was just 20, 30 years ago that they was breeding the dogs that was eating kibbles and bits to create these dogs. So we don't need to go further from that. And again, be leery if somebody's only feeding a specific type of high-end diet. And be leery getting that pup. And you should also ask, if a breeder says, I feed grain-free kibble, why? Have you had allergy issues? Because if you haven't had allergy issues to grain food, then there's no reason for you to be feeding grain-free kibble. If you are feeding grain-free kibble to dogs that need grain-free food, are you now breeding to dogs that can eat food with grain in it? Because that's what should be done as a breeder. If your dog's got allergy issues, you either need to not breed that dog, or you need to be breeding that dog to dogs that don't have allergy issues. We're supposed to be breeding these things away. somehow with between the vets and the pills and the high end foods, we are no longer breeding things out of dogs. We're just ignoring them like they're not an issue, and they are. Um, I have like 68 recipes from my raw guy, all fruits, herbs, and veggies. My market got some yams. I need some for me. Exactly. They are very good for us too. I make my own sauerkraut. See, and that's good. I haven't done that yet. Sauerkraut is very good for your dogs. Anything where vegetables are fermenting, because that's what's happening in the stomach of the prey that most predators eat. So when those vegetables are fermenting, like sauerkraut, it's very good for your dogs. It helps get that good bacteria going. The problem that I've had now, Dion said his dog was cool with the sauerkraut. I have yet to have a dog that is cool with eating sauerkraut. I have to really, really mix it in there good. Otherwise, they do not want it. But again, and just like Dion said, good point. Are allergies hereditary? Yes, they are hereditary. And that's why we need to breed away. Like I even saw a post today, something about dogs being allergic to grass. These are dogs. We're never going to put shoes and jeans and t-shirts on them. So they shouldn't be immune or allergic to grass. If you have dogs that are allergic to grass, I even question whether I would breed that dog. But I'm definitely at that point, if I got a dog that's allergic to grass, I'm breeding that dog to dogs that are eating Old Roy and are fine off of it. I don't want to breed that dog to dogs that are eating raw, because guess what? Chances are they've got some allergy issues also. So if I've got a dog that's allergic to grass and I'm just determined to breed it, then I want to breed that dog to dogs that don't have allergy issues, that can eat anything. But that is the regimen I give my dogs. Now, on the flip side, I made a post probably about a year ago. I think I reposted a few months ago, where I took Cardi Bull off of my regimen. And for 6 months, all she got was pedigree, just straight pedigree. And guess what? She was perfectly fine. Her coat is one of the whitest coats in the bully game. You aren't going to find too many dogs with white on them. She's a piebald dog. You're not going to find too many dogs with white that are as white as her. It didn't change, and she was just eating strictly pedigree. I wasn't adding to it. I wasn't doing anything extra. I didn't notice any changes. Her blue coat was just as good. It was still shiny. So, a lot of it is the genetics of the dog. And then somehow in the last 20, 30, 40, not even 40, last 20 to 30 years, we started making Band-Aid fixes through vet pills and veterinarians that they could charge us money for in these high-end dog foods that aren't fixing problems. They're perpetuating problems, because we're no longer culling the dogs that have issues, because we don't even know. Now we're just popping pills and giving supplements and all these other things. But if you're doing your own supplements, things like that, that's great, because you know exactly what went into it. What was one of the other topics? Okay. Is it bad to have some fire in your dogs? Shout out to Andre with BGK Kennels. He made a post that asked that exact question. And I thought it was a great post. So I posted that same question, presented that same question to the group. And here's the thing when it comes to Foster Jonathan said temperament, no more deaths. Whoa, Foster, you're posting that on my post. No more deaths, quit breeding kid killers. All right, this dude's a nut. And Foster, if you'd like to join in on the live, you can definitely do that by clicking the link. I will go ahead and repost the link, because I like to talk to you extreme people face to face. I know he tried to make a post earlier today. Some dog, it was on the news, attacked somebody, and he wanted to make a big post in the Dion, best cull method is just to spay and neuter. We no longer do the old school cull methods. But Foster, what they call a soft cull. But so Foster, I know your little situation earlier in the group. but we're not gonna do the nuts extreme fur mom stuff in this group. That's just not gonna happen. If you want to jump on the live right now, I just posted the link. You're welcome to jump on the live and state what it is you have to state. But you trying to be extreme and emotional when it comes to a breed that is for the most part bred for the show ring is stupid. And we're not going to make a big scene of things that don't really exist within this breed. So I get what you're saying. Actually, I take that back. I'm being nice. I don't get what you're saying. You so far from what I've heard from the other moderators and everything that's going on, you're nuts. And you're just determined to make some point to get some attention. So if you would like attention, Foster, then jump on the live and we can have that discussion right now. Like I said, I posted that link in, and I am willing to give you all the attention you want. All you got to do is jump in. But you're trying to make mountains out of molehills so you can be something or get some type of attention that you're seeking. And this just ain't the group for that. I'm sorry. This just not that group. There are other groups that you can do that in. Fortunately, Debatable's down, but there are other groups you can go to do that. But when you post stupid, extreme stuff like that, I mean, think about what you said. You said temperament, no more deaths, quit breeding kid killers. Who the hell breeds kid killers? Like, what? You make no sense, and you're just trying to get attention. So if you want that attention, like I said, I give it to you. Click that link. You can join in on the live. I'll pop you in here, and we can chop it up. But as far as you using the group to get a bunch of likes on the post or somebody to believe you breed dogs, because I'm gonna tell you what I think of when I see posts like yours. And obviously, you're a breeder, so when you make extreme posts about the temperament of dogs and dogs with drive, the first thing that comes to my mind is you breed useless dogs. That's what comes to my mind. You breed dogs that if I ring your doorbell, they don't bark. If I pull up, they don't even. If I pull up to your house, they're not even aware. If I kick in your door, they won't do nothing. They'll bark and run to you. And that to me is not what any dog should be. I know Chihuahuas that will still back you up. So when you start presenting stuff like that, when people who know dogs, and they see you make posts like that, they automatically know you don't breed or own or have or are into the type of dogs that most people truly want as a true companion. Because a companion doesn't just mean the dog sits on the couch and watches Netflix with you. It means it participates in the daily activities of the house, and sometimes things will surprise the house, and that can be an intruder, a burglar, whatever it may be. But like I said, bro, you are welcome to join in. I hope you're watching. I see you just made that comment a little while ago. But matter of fact, let me get your attention and invite you to join the live. There you go. So you're welcome to join the live, Foster. But again, we're trying to, in this group, get away from useless dogs, which is what was promoted in this breed. So because of Foster and his comments and temperament, let's go ahead and get into what it is about when we talk about breeding for temperament. And then we can go ahead and wrap this up. I'm going to post up a screen that hopefully, let's see here, you guys should get. How do I get to it? Bam. Okay. So this is what I did. If you look at the American Bully temperament per the ABKC and the ABKC, what do we know? With the ABKC standard, the American Bully is a companion breed exhibiting confidence, a zest for life, along with an exuberant willingness to please and bond with their family, thus making the American Bully an excellent family companion. Despite the American Bully's fierce and powerful appearance, their demeanor is gentle. They are great with kids and extremely friendly with strangers, other dogs, other animals, human or dog aggression, extreme shyness, or viciousness is very, hold on, y'all, is very uncharacteristic of the American Bully and is highly undesirable. That is a ABKC standard. The UK, if you look at that a lot of it just describes every dog. I don't care whether you're talking about a beagle, a Rottweiler, a pit bull. That should be it. The key, though, with the American Bully is extremely friendly with strangers, other dogs, other animals. Dog aggression, extreme shyness, and viciousness is very uncharacteristic of the American Bully. That is your ABKC standard. The UKC standard states that the American Bully breed is first and foremost a companion, exhibiting confidence. And again, all breeds are a companion. So I don't know why these registries get so caught up into that. I don't care if it's AKC, UKC, however long they've been a registry, 200 years, 50 years. This is a purpose-driven companion species. So all dogs are companions. But the American Bully, per the UKC, is a first and foremost a companion, exhibiting confidence with a zest and exuberance for life. Despite its powerful appearance, their demeanor is gentle and friendly. This breed makes an excellent family dog. The ideal American Bully possesses the athleticism to do well in performance events. Aggressive behavior towards humans is uncharacteristic of the breed and highly undesirable. Disqualifications, viciousness, or extreme shyness. When you look at that, the main differences is you'll notice is the UKC is not concerned with dog aggression. If you notice that, it doesn't include it in their standard. It has, and the UKC states that the dog should do well in performance events. Doesn't mean it's going to outdo the Rottweiler in protection events or the Belgian Malinois. It doesn't mean that it's going to outdo the Labrador in dock diving. It doesn't mean the Bully's going to outdo the Border Collie in agility competition. What it does mean, though, is that the dog should be able to participate. And when you get guys like Jonathan Foster, you start to lose that in the breed. And those are typically going to be the people who hibernate underneath the ABKC standard. So let's break it down. And that's why I have this screen up. So when it comes to the American Bully, when you look at and we're going to go through this step by step, line by line. And why can't I? Okay, there we go. Nope, that's not it. There we go. And does it show that, Mark? Okay, yes, it does. All right, so when it comes to the American Bully, what is one of the first things we're looking at? The American Bully is a companion breed. That's all breeds. That's all dogs, period, except for stray dogs. Exhibiting confidence, okay? That should be most breeds. A zest for life. So when you say confidence, when that dog has confidence, in order for a dog to have confidence, there's going to be a certain amount of dominance there. There's going to be a certain amount of rank drive there. But more so dominance. Rank drive is something you want to avoid even in your protection dogs. But it says a zest for life. What are we looking at? Play drive. Along with an exuberant willingness to please. That is purpose drive. And a bond with their family. So scratch out willingness to please, or scratch out to please, and it says exuberant, willingness to please and bond with their family. If you scratch out to please, then you have exuberant willingness to bond with their family. What are we looking for there? Again, purpose drive, and we're also looking for pack drive. Thus making the American Bully an excellent family companion. Despite the American Bully's fierce, powerful appearance, their demeanor is gentle. Gentle is common sense. That's all that is. That's intelligence. That's cognition. You're playing tug of war with your dog versus your 3-year-old's playing tug of war with your dog. Gentle means that the dog knows I don't have to go as hard with the 3-year-old as I'm going with you. There was a video that Marlon with DDK9 did with the Hulk. When Hulk hits him with the bite sleeve, Hulk goes all in. Then he puts the sleeve on his son, I think was 5 or 6 at the time, and Hulk just barely bit the sleeve. That's what gentle is. Gentle doesn't mean a person is weak. It just means they know when not to be overly strong and how to handle things. So when you look at the word gentle, appearance, their demeanor is gentle. So powerful appearance, that's the thickness, the size, but their demeanor is gentle. Now that's because he has the intelligence to know when I don't need to use my size. They are great with kids and extremely friendly with strangers, other dogs, and other animals. Now, when the ABKC says extremely friendly with strangers, that can be looked at in different ways. That can mean when I take my dog to PetSmart, people are able to pet it without any issues, which should be with most dogs. That can also mean that if someone decides they want to break into my home, my dog is helping them carry my TV out. So that is kind of up in the air as far as what they really mean. But it says extremely friendly with strangers, other dogs. Basically, I think in their meaning, he can go to a dog park, definitely participate at a show ring, and there's no issues. And other animals. Now, when ABKC says other animals, that's extreme. Most dogs don't get along with other animals, cats per se. Now, you've had even game dogs that get along with their household family cat. But so is when they say other animals, that mean your animals in the house, or that does that mean squirrels, rabbits, things like that? That the dog will see them and not try to harm them. That I don't know exactly what ABKC means by that, but when you throw animals in there, that's extreme. King, for instance, he's got a great temperament. King gets along with cats, other dogs. But at the same time, when he was residing at our property in Arkansas with my cousin, he would run off bear, wolf, mountain lion, coyotes, raccoons from not only our property, but the neighbor's property. But he got along with cows, horses, goats, sheep. And like I said, he gets along with cats, other dogs. So he knew there was a difference between the wild animals, and that is cognition, that is intelligence. So to fit these things, we're going to need each of these different drives in order to fit them. The question is, where should these drives be? So here we go. Let's get into it. When it comes to, so if I widen that, okay, so it's widening on there too. All right, so I'm gonna have to do these separate. So in order to fit the ABKC, when it comes to, now here's another trick to this. And if you do this on paper when it comes to temperament in your breedings, high, medium, and low should be governed by the breed and the breed standard. Medium, too high, and low to medium should be governed by the breeder. That's where you create your bloodline, is in those areas while staying within the breed standard. And that goes for all breeds. So when it comes to the American Bully, we know we are looking for, let's say the dog gets along with other dogs per the ABKC. So that means he has to have an extremely low rank drive. And there's ABKC. There's no such thing as zero, okay? So the ABKC has to have an extremely low rank drive. Then when it comes to, what else did they say? An exuberant willingness to please. Exuberant is extreme. So therefore, this dog should have, according to ABKC's standard, an exuberant willingness to please. That means a high purpose drive. Again, that's ABKC. Now, when we get to UKC, what we'll do is we'll change it from ABKC and we'll change it to both. But right now, we're just doing ABKC. So the American Bully is a companion breed exhibiting confidence. Confidence is going to somewhat come with dominance. But at the same time, we know we want the dog to get along with other dogs. So if he's going to have, he should be exuding confidence. That should come from more than just his look. So we're going to say, in general, ABKC wants dominance to be right around the middle, but it should not. And then we're also going to throw fight drive in here. Okay, so extreme. So therefore, we're dealing with dominance. We're going to keep that in the middle. So he should be about the average dog when it comes to exhibit is showing confidence, exhibiting confidence. Should be a zest for life. Zest for life is what? That's play. So we know ABKC wants a dog that has a high play drive. Okay. And we say, along with an exuberant willingness to please, that's your purpose drive, and bond with their family. That includes purpose and pack at the same time. But it said exuberance, willingness to bond with the family. So again, we're looking for high. Now, understanding, we'll get into this a little later, that what may be high to me may not be high to you. So we're governing this off what our experiences are with dogs. Okay. So what that means is, and it still works regardless of who you are, because you're still dealing and breeding the dogs that are in front of you. Now, hold on. Let me figure out how to flip back over. Okay, there we go. So we are at, when it comes to it, okay, so it said bond with their family, plus making the American Bully an excellent family companion. That's covered because it's a dog. Despite the American Bully's fierce and powerful appearance, which has nothing to do with what we're talking about, their demeanor is gentle. Gentle comes with intelligence. This is intuitive drive. For whatever reasons, I never see people speak about intuitive drive. If you want to know how intelligent a puppy is, watch the puppy that gets into shit when they're 6 weeks old, 8 weeks old, in that age frame. Those are your pups. If you guys, if I'm missing your comments right now, I apologize. I'll try to get on top of them, but and I'll try to go back to them. But doing these screens kind of messes me up. But intuitive drive is if I make a sound over here, but the pups don't see, and I do a lot of tests with our pups and our litters when it comes to their intuitive drive. But intuitive drive just starts off with curiosity in puppies. Your puppies who are more confident are willing to walk over to where they heard that sound come from to see what it is that oh shit, I didn't mean to do that, to see what it is that they're doing. So when it comes that intuitive drive between, so you're looking for curiosity, the dog's willingness to go and see what it heard, pay attention to what it heard. When they hit about 6 weeks old, I start getting them used to their smell. Smell is one of the first developments in a pup. So when they hit about 6 weeks old, I start getting them used to smelling certain things. And for a couple of days, I'll get them used to that thing. Then I'll drag it on the ground and I'll drag it on the other side of the coffee table or whatever to see if they can smell their way to it and start finding things. All of that kind of plays into the intelligence of a dog. And a lot of that is their intuitiveness. By the time the dog hits about 6 months to 12 months old, intuitive starts to turn into intelligence. So you have the willingness to be intelligent, which is the intuitive drive, and to learn. And then by about 6 to 12 months old, it is no longer intuitive. It's just it's still there, but it more becomes the intelligence of your dog. So always pay attention to that when it comes to your pups. Are they willing to discover? Are they curious? This is going to let you know the intelligence of a dog. When you get people who are breeding lazy dogs, docile dogs, no one wants to admit it, but they're breeding dumber dogs. And the dogs have less intuition. They have less curiosity. Curiosity is how dogs learn. That's why they say curiosity killed the cat, because it learned that final lesson. Curiosity is how animals learn when they're young. And that curiosity ends up helping you when it turns to training and getting the dog to understand even just its environment, that I'll be home at 7, not at 3. So therefore, there's no reason for you to be crying in your kennel. Those are the type of things, even when it comes to these people are a threat, these people aren't. This is all cognition. So cognition starts with the intuitive drive in pups. So when the ABKC states, where were we? That they should be gentle, we're looking for that intuitive drive in the dog. And for some reason, it didn't grab the new, or it doesn't look like it did. I think I see what it's doing. So any adjustments I make, it's not really grabbing it. Or is it? Let me see here. Give me a sec, you guys. Oh, it is. Okay. So intuitive drive. If this dog is supposed to be powerful, muscular, heavy bone. But we also want it to be gentle without being lazy or docile. And I want the intuitive drive in the dog to be high to complete what the ABKC is saying I need to do when it comes to breeding. Okay. So now we've got the intuitive drive in there. Then it also states in the what else does it say? Despite fierce, gentle. Gentle takes intelligence because it's a powerful dog. So it needs to understand place and time. They are great with kids. That should be all dogs, from pointers to pit bulls to Rottweilers to band dogs to bullies. And extremely friendly with strangers, other dogs, and other animals. So let's break that down. Extremely friendly with strangers. Now, in general, what they're basically saying is this dog is going to have a low territorial drive and a low protective drive. Okay. For the ABKC, confidence is kind of a conflict, but confidence should be around medium with dominance, so that you have a dog that is at least willing to dominate its own body. So let's say even for ABKC, we can go low to medium on that. And you'll still have a dog that shows confidence. Now, his threshold for his confidence and his dominance is going to be something different. It's going to be low to medium. So he may look confident, but if another confident dog comes, he may cower down. But this is what they asked for. When it also says, so extremely friendly with strangers. So we know we're not dealing with it. We know we're dealing with a dog that is low in territorial drive, low in protection drive. Protection doesn't just mean you, it also means itself. It means itself, its home, etc. But a dog that is extremely friendly with strangers, Cardi Bull is not extremely friendly with strangers, but strangers can walk up and pet her and get in her face and everything, but they can't disrespect her. Otherwise her demeanor is going to change. So if you want a dog that's extremely friendly with strangers, that sounds to me like your average Labrador, good. Well, I'm not gonna say good for nothing, but just go lucky, whatever it is type dog. And that means it's gonna have a low protection drive. It's also supposed to be extremely friendly with other dogs. This means the dog is gonna have a low fight drive, low dominance drive. We already put that at medium to low, so that should cover it. And a low rank drive. Okay. So then when we get into human and other animals, that other animals means squirrels, mice. This dog's supposed to be extremely friendly with other animals. This means, according to ABKC, they should have an extremely low prey drive in order for that to take place. Because they don't say, but the dog should be able to guard from wild animals. King is extremely friendly with other dogs, but King will protect your property. If you have a large yard, you've got livestock, King has proven he will protect your property from wild animals. But for ABKC, they want extremely friendly with other animals. So to guarantee what they're asking for ABKC, we got to put a low prey drive. Now, when it comes to the UKC standard, the American Bully breed is first and foremost a companion exhibiting confidence. We already covered that with ABKC with a zest and exuberance for life. We covered that with ABKC. Despite his powerful appearance, their demeanor is gentle. We covered that with ABKC. Then they say this breed makes an excellent family dog. The ideal American Bully possesses athleticism to do well in performance events. In order for that dog to do well in performance events, per UKC, it's also got to be purpose driven. So we'll change purpose drive from ABKC to both. We've also going to, in order for that dog to perform well in performance events, he's going to have some type of prey drive. So for UKC, we're going to say medium. Okay. Intuitive should be about the same. Territorial should be about the same. Protection should be about the same. Rank drive should be about the same. But here's the question. When UKC says their demeanor is gentle and friendly, This breed makes an excellent family companion. Does that mean, quit trying to get her in trouble? Does that mean that family companion, does that mean it's more protectful? What does that mean when they say that? They don't explain it, so we'll leave it alone. It does say aggressive behavior towards humans is uncharacteristic of the breed and highly undesirable. Now, UKC does not go into the dog being friendly. It does say aggressive behavior towards humans is uncharacteristic and highly undesirable. But it doesn't say extremely friendly with strangers. So this means UKC is opening the door for protection, for the dog to be territorial. They're also opening the door when they don't bring up animals at all. They're opening the door for dominance. They're opening the door for, UKC is basically looking for a real dog. They're opening the door for rank drive. So now we can start with the UKC standard for temperament. We can start creating the average dog. You see what I'm saying? So when it comes to fight drive, UKC is going to be average, which is medium. ABKC and UKC both want this dog to be able to differentiate when it should be gentle. That's going to take intelligence. So now we're looking for intuition, and it's intuitive drive. This diagram basically breaks down what they are looking for. When you get into the in-between parts, this is where you throw your own flair into it. So like here, that's where you're going to throw your own flair to it. Here, that's where you're going to, now ABKC kind of fits in there on its own, but that's where you're throwing your own flair. When it comes to breeding, the only way you can breed for temperament, and now I will jump back in here. Hold on just a moment. Where am I at? Okay, so when it comes to temperament, the only way you can breed for temperament is to know what your dog is made of, and also think about its environment. When it comes to humans, we are born, made, or chose. Those are only three options. When it comes to animals, they are born or made. When it comes to plants, they are same thing. So when it comes to animals, they are born or made. So therefore, they are born, which is its genetics, or made by its environment. They don't have the option with chose. So when it comes to your breedings, the first thing you want to do when you get that pup, and you're trying to figure, that's the best way to figure out his genetics. That's the best point. Of course, some of those genetics kick in even more as the pup, gets older. But when you want to test that pup's, his determination, one of the best ways to test determination in a pup, throw a blanket over him. Get you a big blanket or a comforter, a little bit of weight on it, throw it over that pup and see how determined he is to get to the end. Some pups will get confused and just keep walking in circles underneath the blanket. That's cool. Some pups, what's up, girl? Some pups will actually will just quit. They'll just lay down and start whimpering. Then you have a dog that has a low determination. Okay, that low determination is also going to turn into, what's up, girl? Here's Cardi Bull. You are a mess. But that low determination is also going to turn into lower prey drives or thresholds for prey drives and things like that. So never have a big dog on a chair on wheels because she will knock you to the side. But so you want to be aware of these things, and there's ways to test for that. See how long the dog, will search for food, treats, things like that, so that you can get an idea. So let's break these things down and how we would test for them. Rank drive. You're going to have to talk to the breeders of the dog and ask questions about the mom and dad, how they dealt with, their litter mates, how they deal with other dogs in the yard. You're going to want to see videos on that. When you produce your pup so that you have an idea of you have your first litter, you want to know, okay, Daryl's running his mouth about rank drive. So the first thing you want to do is see how those pups get along with each other. Is there a pup that is determined to be the top dog in the litter? Don't get rank and dominance confused. Dominance is situational. Rank means anytime I'm around other dogs, I want to be top dog. If the dog has a high rank drive, if the dog has a medium level rank drive, then it just basically means he don't want to be disrespected by other dogs. when it comes, and you have to watch that in those pups. What they do then as pups is where their genetics are placing them. Play drive. You get some pups, they'll just look at you and they just chill. You try to get them going, get them excited, they're not into it. You get other pups. In order for these dogs to have an exuberant zest or a zest for life, zest is an extreme word. So a zest for life means they're going to have a high prey drive or a high play drive. That can be lowered down to medium to high, and of course you can still get away with it. But what is their play drive? Which pups are willing to play the longest? Get your stop clock out, time it, and see which dogs are willing to play the longest. That is going to let you know their play drive. Also, grab a toy, hold it above the litter that they know that they're used to playing with. Start your stop clock. Keep track of which pups still paying attention, which pups still want to engage. You're just not going to let them. When you put those two times together, you're going to see, add them together, divided by 2, and that becomes that pup's average. So if I get a pup that for 5 seconds wants to play with a toy, but I don't give it to him, so he walks away, I'm going to take that 5 seconds. If I get another, that same pup is willing to play with a toy for, I don't know, let's say the first pup, let's do even numbers to make this easy. So the first pup is willing to try to engage with a toy that I won't give it for 4 seconds. Then when I do let him have the toy, he's willing to play with it for about 10 seconds, and then he quits. That's 14 seconds. Those are 2 different activities. Divided by 2, you're looking at 7. And you want to do that with each pup. The pups with the higher number are going to be the pups that have a higher play drive. Your purpose drive, because it's their desire to play and then their willingness to play when the play has started. Your purpose drive. Purpose is going to be difficult to do unless you're creative when the pups are young and you still got that litter with you, because the purpose drive is something you're going to look for different things that you can get that pup to get engaged in. So without using treats, can I get you to search for your favorite toy? If I switch from this toy and I put that toy down, but then I grab a ball, are you willing to stay focused on the ball with me, or now do you want to go do your own thing with that toy that you prefer? Purpose drive is about you, the human, and what it is you want that dog to do. And keep track of how many different objects and things I can go through before he deals with it. If you have a toy that you know the pups never want to play with, but then when you get engaged with that toy, they're willing to play with it, that's when you know you're dealing with a decent purpose drive. Pack drive. That is the dog's desire to be amongst its pack. It's also the dog's desire to get along with its pack. You want a high pack drive with all dogs. What we don't want is a dog that has such a high pack drive that it creates anxiety when the pack is no longer around. You should be able to, first off, as breeders, you need to be starting to separate your pups so that they go a couple hours just by themselves, just sitting by themselves. Let them cry, whine, and do all the things that puppies do before you bring those. And then once they quiet, that's when you bring the other pups back into the fold with them, or you bring them back into the fold with the other pups so that they can learn you're okay by yourself. You also need to play with that pup by yourself, although remembering that you are part of the pack. So you want a dog that's got a high pack drive, because it also helps you create a dog that is more into, protection and understands its bond with the family. But it also pack drive is not just about being with the pack. It's about getting along with the pack, understanding the vibe of the house, the time that I get fed, the time that people come home. When mom's walking in the kitchen with a pot, I'm not getting in her way so that she spills a pot of boiling water. Understanding the vibe of the house, what's important, what's not important. You're going to test that with your pups just by watching them with their pack and their litter mates, and then separating them and seeing how they do. Also, that pup that never bites too hard, but still is able to defend itself and still is able to play, he's going to have a good pack drive because he understands his environment. He's learning quickly that I don't have to bite hard to play. I'm not trying to be that mean dog or that dominant dog or that rank-driven dog, as long as that dog's not disrespecting me. So pack has a lot to do with understanding the other living creatures within its environment. And you need to be paying attention to that when you have your first litters and every litter that you have. And think about those things when it comes to the pups that you're picking, but all to keep, but also the pups that you're selling to people and their environment. Territorialness. You're never really going to get an idea of that from pups other than kind of understanding the pack. Territory does come with the pack. This is my pack's location, so therefore I protect it. A dog that has a good pack drive will tend to have a good territorial drive. Now, if that drive is high, then that means he's willing to, it's not necessarily about him protecting his property. It's about him letting things know, I don't want you here. So you don't want a dog with an extremely high territorial drive. If you're dealing with protection, perimeter guardians, or just guardians in general, people should be able to enter into your home or your yard when brought in by you, and that dog should be able to drop all territorialness. So territorialness you want right around the medium area. Protection drive. Protection, you're not going to be able to do again when they're pups, other than looking at that dog's willingness. If you have a pup that likes to inflict pain on other pups when they're playing, put that pup with those other pups and see how they get along. If one of those pups is quick to submit to that pup, then you know he's going to have a low protection drive, not only for himself, but also for your household. And so if he's got a high protection drive, then when that dog bites him too hard, he's going to defend himself. Dominance. Dominance can be situational. Again, dominance when they're young and in their litter is very difficult to decipher between it and rank drive. One of the ways you can do it is, again, paying attention to your pup. Most pups aren't aggressive over food. They just get in there. But pay attention to how they get in there. Pay attention to their posture when other pups are trying to get in there. Pay attention to how they respond to toys. If another dog, some dogs, if another pup grabs the end of a toy, they will just pull, try to back up. Other pups will learn quick. I'm going to shake. I'm going to try to take it over. Now, that comes with intelligence, but the pups that learn that to do that quickly tend to be a more dominant pup. So again, that is something that you have to kind of wait till that dog gets older. Some dogs are dominant, not rank driven, but they're dominance driven when it comes to the couch, or they're dominant driven when it comes to their food, or they're dominance driven when it comes to you as their owner. You take them to a dog park, they get along well with every dog until one of those dogs approaches you, then all of a sudden they become dominant. When it comes to prey drive, again, you can test that with a pup. The little red light beams that you can use, little laser lights, that's a great way to see the prey drive in a pup. Get you a little spring pole. Some of the best ones to get are the ones that are made for cats. See how long they're willing to chase it. Again, time it. Or how long are they willing to engage with it? Fight drive, you'll be able to gauge that with your pups when they get into fights. Intuitive drive, we already spoke on that. Now, you need to treat drives the same way you would treat your structure. If a dog has a high rear, you know you want to breed it to dogs that have a level rear and good angulation. If a dog has weak pasterns, you know you want to breed it to a dog that doesn't. Well, it's the same thing with, the dogs that you have in your yard and the dogs. Are you guys able to hear me? Let me know, because if somebody just said no audio. But when it comes to the dogs, you want to go for, if you got a dog that's got everything you want in various drives, and remember, break it down so that you can see all these various drives in your dog, just the way you see rear end, front end, head, muzzle, ear set, eye set, bone. You want to break as many drives down that you understand in a dog, so that when you're breeding, you can incorporate that into your breeding. So for instance, if I've got a dog that I notice he's got a high prey drive, but I don't feel that's what the ABKC wants, and it may interfere with me bringing him into the show ring, then guess what? I've got to breed him to a dog that I know has a lower prey drive, a lower fight drive, a lower dominance drive, a lower rank drive. And then I've got to select the pups off of that. But all you're doing is balancing it when you breed for temperament. But temperament is a phenotype, just like color, just like structure. It is not just a genotype. It is a phenotype. It is what we see. The problem with temperament is what we see is based off of our experience and how much we truly understand dogs and the drives that make up dogs. So study the different drives that make up a dog. Look them up on the internet. Read about them in books. See why this person says it this way and this person says it that way. The best way to understand the drives in the dog is to read breed standards for temperament, but then also understand the extremes of drive. You know, those people who do protection work with dogs understand their definitions of drives. And then you want to bring that and incorporate that into the dogs that you're creating at home, and you want to balance them. So if I've got a dog that's got a high play drive, PLAY, to the point where that's just all he wants to do. I can't train him. He's constantly distracted, looking for the next thing to get into. That's a play drive. Then I'm going to want to breed him to a dog that's got a lower play drive. And then I want to pick the pups that seem to look like what I'm expecting from there. And that's what this is all about. So I know there seems to be, for some reason, some audio issues. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. But again, treat the drives. Temperament, this is a purpose-driven companion species made up of a temperament. That temperament is designed in various breeds to accomplish various things. Temperament is broken down into drives. These drives are the triggers that make the dog do whatever it does. And within each of these drives is a threshold, which is why we have high all the way down to low. High threshold means there's nothing you can do to stop me from whatever this drive is triggering. Low threshold means I'm not even into whatever this trigger should have caused. And those are, you want to be aware of that. So temperament is made up of various drives. Learn as much about the drives and the dogs as you can. Study it. And then understand that each of those drives has a different threshold in each of the various breeds, and within each breed they have a different threshold in each dog. If you want that threshold to be higher or lower, then you've got to breed for that. What we don't have to do, as you can see, what we don't have to do, which a lot of bully people get mixed up in, is create lazy, low driven dogs. And we just proved it here. That you can have a high play drive, a high purpose drive, a high pack drive, high intuitive drive, and still have a good dog. The problem with the bully community is they're trying to do everything ABKC down here, low, all the way across. Rank drive low, play drive low. And what they're doing, and it's like even the post we were talking about earlier where the guy was talking about something about baby killers or whatever he said. That's where intelligence becomes a part of what it is we're doing and what it is that I'm talking about and why you can have. So one of the best examples I give is I had a bull lurcher, one of the best dogs I've ever owned. My daughter had a hamster. The hamster was making just way too much noise. So I put the hamster in the garage. The hamster got out the garage, got into the front yard. I let the bull lurcher out to use the bathroom. She caught the hamster, brought it back. She didn't kill it. She just brought it straight back to the door. This is a dog that prior to then had been killing coyotes, raccoons, anything she could get on. But she knew that hamster belonged to our home. That's intelligence. Like I brought up the Hulk, where with Marlin, he's hitting the sleeve and he's shaking and doing everything else. And then when it came to Marlin's son, who was, I think, 6 or 7 at the time, he just grabbed it and then really didn't do anything. High drive, prey drive, whatever it may be in a dog, doesn't mean that the dog is mean. It doesn't mean that the dog is going to attack people. Doesn't mean the dog's going to attack your children. Today I posted a band dog that we have in our family, owned by my cousin Nicole, which is Aaron's sister. He is Cane Corso Borabel. Cane Corso from the line of Cane Corsos that Aaron was breeding a while back. Borabel and Caucasian Overchart blended. He is an aggressive dog, but he gets along with the bully from our last litter. He gets along with the pit bull that she owns. He also gets along with the other bully that she owns. He is, but he don't get along with other dogs outside of his home. He does not get along with other dogs. When it comes to people, when she brings you into the home, you are perfectly fine. You can pet him. You can, but you have to go through that ritual process of coming into the home and being introduced and welcomed into the home by the people who live there. If you walk into that home without them being there, you don't have to kick in the door. They can just leave the door unlocked. And if you open that door and you step in, he's going to get you. You know what I'm saying? But that's what comes with intelligence. And what's happened is we're breeding, just like I was saying earlier, we're breeding allergy issues into these dogs because of the way we feed them. And we're so into all these high end and nutrition from this. And, you know, tripe is something that's good for a dog. But do you need tripe? Should your dog need tripe? Shouldn't. If it's bred correctly, it shouldn't need it. What's the other one? The seaweed that they're giving to dogs now, and humans are taking. That's cool, but your dog shouldn't need it. You shouldn't need it, and the reason they are needing it is because of the way that we're breeding them. We need to breed dogs the same way when it comes to temperament. That we're not just breeding out everything and then just creating this docile dog. When I have a bully, I don't want it to operate like a Labrador or like your neighbor's everyday Labrador or Golden Retriever. I don't want that. I want a little more intensity with my dog, but I want him to get along with my neighbor's Labrador or Golden Retriever. And that's the way we should be thinking about these dogs. So again, really sit back, study, and understand the drives of a dog so that when you're breeding, you can breed for various drives at various levels. And it takes time to get there, but in the end, you create a better dog. We got lucky. Our plan was to buy, I've said it before, 5 to 6 dogs and then start breeding for temperament. We got lucky with King. He had a great temperament. So then all we had to focus on was driven females to get what we wanted. And so we, instead of having to get 5 to 6 dogs, we accomplished what we wanted to achieve with 3, King plus 2 females. And then we brought in 1 more dog. So 4 that we just did a breeding with. And she just dropped a litter off of King. That's 2 weeks old now. But again, study temperament. Don't just follow these bully breeders. When you do go buy a dog, ask them. And I know it's difficult because we're all on the internet, you know, but ask them. Take a look at their family life. Scroll through their Facebook. Are their dogs around children? Do they do protection work with the dog? Do they hunt with the dog? Do their dogs go camping? Or is it just a nice, fancy, bright light, clean, nice, beautiful kennel setup and the dogs don't get out? Or they just get out to kind of play a little bit. These are going to be breeders that really don't know much about their dogs, especially if they don't have a background. There are times for me, there are things I can see in pictures of a dog that let me know because I've taken pictures of my dogs beyond bullies. And there's a look that comes with certain intensities and certain drives. It's just like you have a friend that gets locked up. They do 5-10 years in prison. When they get out, there's a different look they have. And sometimes it takes years for that look to go away. You know what I'm saying? Well, dogs are no different. There's a look no matter what. When you take a picture of a dog, I can see in that dog. I can't see all details, but I can give you a general about dogs because I have taken pictures of my high-driven dogs and I have taken pictures of my low-driven dogs. And there's a similarity within looks. But ask as many questions, look at videos. You know, when they throw the ball, does the dog go hard after the ball or does he just kind of go to the ball and then just kind of bring it back? My favorite dog is going to go full speed to get the ball and bring it back at full speed. But that may not be what you want. So pay attention to those things and learn those drives as you're breeding. It's already been 1 hour and 44 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. If you have any questions, definitely put them in here. I will come back to it and answer questions and keep it going. If we need to get back on it next week, then we will do that too. But definitely, like I say, don't get so caught up into the looks of these dogs that you forget about their cognition and their temperament, their ability to understand, to read things, their willingness to defend your home. You should not have a dog above 30 pounds that won't defend your home. My Jack Russell was 15 pounds at most. You couldn't back her down. You know what I mean? You couldn't stomp your foot at her and get her to run away. She's not going to do that. She's going to protect the home. We should expect the same thing of these bullies. That doesn't mean that they're going to attack somebody or kill somebody or anything like that. The average dog should be willing to use his body to protect its home and protect its family. One of me and my cousin's mottos when our breedings is that a dog that won't bite to defend its family is just as bad as a dog that bites its family. Now, logically, of course, we feel a dog that bites its family is worse. But when it comes to our breedings, we want that balance. So I'm going to go ahead and check out of here. Thank you guys for joining in. I appreciate it. Also, I know some of you guys checked out Fred. He did a live yesterday. Tomorrow, Danny Cervantes is going to be going live. I think he's doing that around 6. I'm not sure. I'll make sure. We'll get that posted. Thursday, we'll be back with the XL Bully Showcase. But we're trying to get a live going, an educational live going every day of the week. This Friday, we are going to be doing a marketing series on these dogs because I am terrible when it comes to marketing. So we're going to break it down from taking pictures, how to handle yourself on Facebook, how to market on Facebook, Instagram, getting your website ranked. We're going to be breaking that all down. I have a special guest that's going to be joining on. So I think that's going to be great. But so we'll be doing that on Friday. So that, I think a lot of us need help with marketing when it comes to these dogs. We definitely do, because that's just not something I'm into. But other than that, I'm signing out, and thank y'all for joining in.